In our lives, there are many questions you have to deal with. Three of the big questions are pretty obvious. The question of identity, who am I, who are we? The second question is one of destiny, where are we going on the journey, where are we heading for? And the third question is, how do we get there? Those are really big questions, identity, destiny, and our moral life. But there's some minor questions. Remember when I was 9 years old, I asked my dad, because I was 9 years old, I sat down, Dad, I said, why do I have to mow the lawn? I tried to explain to him the principle of futility, that mow the lawn this week, 7 days later, it's back where it was. My dad said, get out there and mow the lawn. And my mom said to me, she said, Robert, she said, if you eat your spinach, I hated spinach. If you eat your spinach, you're going to grow up and be tall and strong. My mother lied to me. But there's a question today in the scriptures that we have to deal with, and it kind of comes from a poem by a Spanish philosopher, Antonio Machado. And it has a 10-line poem. It's a dialogue between the wind and the garden. And the last line is kind of terrifying. What have you done with the garden entrusted to you? That's a big question. What have we done with the garden entrusted to us? We have all kinds of gardens. We have our physical garden to take care of our bodies, proper nutrition, exercise, proper rest in our journey. Do we take care of our bodies? We have a social garden of our family and our friends and our co-workers. Do we tend to that garden? My little niece, I have 17 nieces and nephews, and Molly said to me recently, his youngest one, Uncle Bob, don't you love us anymore? What do you mean, Molly? You don't come to see us much anymore. Do you love us or do you not? You told us once, but we forgot. When you come, bring a gift. Right between the eyes. Do you love us or not? We have an intellectual garden. We are lifelong learners. Is beyond grade school and high school and college, are we learning and studying and enriching, expanding our minds? It's a big responsibility. We have a moral garden of making good decisions, and we have a spiritual garden. In baptism, we're given the gift of faith. In the readings today, the first reading about the tree growing to fullness, St. Paul says we walk by faith and not by sight. In the gospel about the mustard seed, so that seed has been planted, and the question is, what have we done with our faith life? And one author, Avery Dulles, says that there are 4 stages of faith. There's our childhood faith, where we learned at 7, 8 years old. There's adolescent faith in our teens. There's adulthood faith. There's old age faith. That as we grow and develop, hopefully our faith is also expanding. But another author said that a lot of times we have a kindergarten soul, that we don't grow at all after kindergarten. We're still there. No development in our faith life. We can't afford that to happen. So how do we grow in our faith? I'm going to offer 3 suggestions this morning, how we grow in our faith. One is to stay close to the saints. Elizabeth Van Seton, St. Francis, St. Augustine, St. Clare, the great saints. There's a book out right now by Robert Ellsberg. It's called All Saints. It's written in 1997. I've bought 10 copies of it over the years. In that book, there's 365 people mentioned, one for each day of the year, page and a half, little biography of people who had their seed of faith, they nurtured it, they developed it, and shared it. Productive people. Stay close to the saints, and your life will be enriched. They a witness and a modeling of the gospel. The second suggestion would be one of my confirmation letters I got received. High school junior said to your grandpa, Grandpa, what advice do you have to give me for confirmation? And Grandpa said, stay close to God, stay close to your family, and surround yourself with good people. Pretty good. Stay close to God, stay close to your family, and surround yourself with faith-filled people. A second way to grow is to have a faith community, our parish here, to have a Bible group, to have a Cursillo get together, to study together in some ways, getting together to share our faith. I would say 80% of our Catholics do not do faith sharing. They go to church, they receive the Eucharist, but to share how God touched their life this past week, we're not used to doing that. Faith sharing can enrich our faith. It means that we reflect upon our journey. And thirdly, besides the saints who kind of give us the conviction that God loves us, besides this confidence within the community, we have commitment. Faith is about commitment, putting our religion into action. The Quakers have a wonderful tradition in their community. They have people identify a concern. What concern has God put on your heart this week? Person in nursing home, a neighbor who's lonely, a co-worker who's depressed. There's always a concern on our heart. And to name that and to respond to that is to be a faithful person. It's not good enough just to think and have a personal relationship with Jesus. We put that faith into action. The whole poem, it's only 10 lines, by Antonio Machado, goes like this: The wind in the garden. The wind, one brilliant day, called to my soul with an aroma of jasmine. In return for this jasmine odor, like all the odor of your roses. I have no roses, I have no flowers left in my garden, all are dead. Then I take the waters of the fountains, in the yellow leaves, in the dried up petals. The wind left, I wept. I said to myself, what have you done with the garden entrusted to you? So we pray today that through the Eucharist, our gardens might flourish. We might be truly faith-filled people.